Good morning, everybody. Before we start, we still have people coming in. If you could scoot into the center of the pews. We have like 150 choir members here this morning, so we are going to be jammed in. But if you could move into the center of the pews to make room for people coming in who are trying to find space. We still do have people coming in, but we're going to get started and be joyful together even as we scoot and make room for people. And somewhere in there, there is a metaphor for church, the way we do it every Sunday, but especially this Sunday. Good morning and welcome to Unity Church. On this Easter Sunday morning, I'm the Reverend Dr. Oscar Sinclair. I serve Unity as your senior minister. I am joined in the chancel this morning by our worship associate, Sarah Cledwyn, by our Hallman Ministerial intern, Amy Brunell, by our minister of congregational care, Shay MacKay. Our minister of faith formation, KP Hong, will be in this service. Our music director, Dr. Ahmed Ansaldua, is up there. We have a 3-ring service this morning. It is Easter, everyone. It is good to be together. If this is your first time joining us, we are so glad that you are with us. For the next 70 minutes or so, we'll share a time of word and prayer, silence and song, stories for kids, brief reflections from ministers and lay people. If you're visiting us in person, you can find a new visitor card in the pew in front of you. If you would be so kind as to fill that out and put it in the offering basket when it passes by you later in the service, that will let us know who you are and what brought you here this morning. If you're joining us online, welcome. You can send us an email with that same information. We would love to follow up with you as well. Whether you've been here for years or if this is your first time joining us, we are so glad to have you with us. Whoever you are, whatever brings you to this place, wherever you are going next, know that in this place and in this time, all of who you are, your gifts and your wounds are welcome. We hope that you will find Unity Church to be a place that helps you find and keep your balance, and a loving community that helps you to live a life of integrity, service, and joy. Announcements. We have no Finding Yourself at Unity this morning. In your program, there are, I believe, links to registrations for 2 things. One is the Isaiah-led Tax Day of Action on April 15th, where we will be trying to get state lawmakers to help to fund the Hennepin County medical system as part of our witness in the world that a better world is possible. The second thing is that 2 weeks from now, we are hosting the Unitarian Universalist Christian Fellowship semi-annual gathering here at Unity. Now, we are not a Christian denomination, but within Unitarian Universalism, there is a Christian fellowship that meets every once in a while, and we're hosting this year. So you can find more information, registration information in your packet. It is going to be great. There is going to be conversations about the theology of Prince and the theology of what's happened in Minneapolis the last couple months. So think about that. Register if you're interested. I will be there the whole time, and I think that's it for announcements. Great. For now, take a moment, settle yourself into these pews, take a deep breath, and we'll enter into worship with the ringing of our bell.
Way down in the ground sits the seed. Inside it stirs the hunger of all things to grow, evolve, contribute, receive, and belong. It is placed in the soil, the raw material of life, full of possibility. The sun and the rain call it forth. It sends out thirsty roots and sends up a searching stem, a bud, a bloom. What a beautiful vision it creates. A splash of green after a dull winter, perhaps the promise of flowers, new seeds, perhaps food for the web of life, and again for the land. It gives its beauty, its gifts of gladness and fragrance, color, nourishment. For the fulfillment of its life, it gives what it is, and we rejoice at its appearance. Imagine the seed, perhaps joyfully changing, reaching, transforming, becoming something unimaginable. A plant, a tree, a flower, a celebration of life. Imagine that from another perspective, we may find fear and grief as the seed gives itself up to a different life, spread out at the mercy of weather and other beings, fragile in an uncertain world. In times of great invitation and great risk, may we find the love that carries us forward into new life. May we gracefully let go of what is falling away, what serves us no longer, and set our sights on bringing forth what we long to see. Come, let us worship together. Please join me in the chalice lighting words found in your order of worship. We light this chalice as the symbol of our faith, the light of truth and the warmth of love. Please feel free to stand in body or spirit to join in the opening hymn, number 268 in your gray hymnal, Jesus Christ is Risen Today.
So the story of Easter begins on a quiet morning just outside the city gates of Jerusalem. The sky was maybe purple, the birds maybe just beginning to wake up as the women made their way to the tomb of Jesus where his body had been laid, and then a heavy, large stone rolled to seal shut the tomb. Our children who are here know this story. Jesus had been their friend and their beloved teacher who had fed the hungry, healed the sick, taught his followers to see strangers as neighbors, and for standing up for the oppressed, Jesus had been killed. And so on that quiet morning, the women arrive at the tomb and they're met with astonishment. The large stone had been rolled away and the tomb was empty. That's about all that the early stories of what happened on that Easter morning can agree on. There are about 12 or so encounters where the friends and followers of Jesus tell stories about how on that road or near that lake, they encountered the resurrected, the raised up Jesus. But no two accounts ever say the same thing. And then as time flowed on, and as the followers and friends and disciples of Jesus spread to other lands and traveled to other countries, where they built different kinds of churches, where they sang different hymns, where some prayed in Latin in Rome and others prayed in Greek in Constantinople. It seemed like they had many different versions and understandings of what happened on Easter resurrection morning. In the early 2000s, one of the most regarded and important historians of ancient Christianity, John Dominic Crossan, and his wife, they were traveling ancient Christian worlds, taking pictures of monasteries and churches. And Crossan kept on running into a very strange pattern. He noticed that in the churches of the West, France, Germany, Italy, Spain, there were similar types of images of the resurrected Jesus Christ everywhere that he went to. Whereas in the East, in places like Greece and Turkey and Egypt and Syria, there was a depiction of resurrected Jesus that was very, very different. It seemed like the Western church and the Eastern church had very different understandings of what it is that we are celebrating this morning. In fact, children who are here in the sanctuary, if Crossan was here, he would invite you to come to the center aisle and let's make a pilgrimage to the Western Christian church. So come and join me in the center aisle, wherever you are. Come on up, close to where I am. Come this way. And we will wonder and imagine together that we are going west. In fact, let's go to Florence, Italy, and visit the Santa Maria Novella Chapel, where we might encounter a painting, a fresco, painted on the high vaulted ceiling, like the one that Nelson is showing up. We might actually see Nelson there too. And it sort of looks like this. High and raised up, Nelson. And what you notice in this painting in the Christian West is we see the resurrected, radiant Jesus coming out of the tomb. There are two angels pointing to the tomb that is empty. And then there are other figures like the soldiers who are guarding, and they're falling away because they're so astonished and surprised that this could happen. But the central figure, the focus of the whole painting, is this risen Christ. It seemed like for the Western Christian church, what we do on Easter is Christ is risen. But this is where Croissant says to the Western church, when you gather to celebrate Easter, please don't forget that this is not the earliest or even the most original understanding of what we celebrate on Easter morning. In order to do that, to see what that earlier original celebration was about, Croissant would say, we need to go east. Let's go to Istanbul, Turkey, and let's visit the Korah Church. Come this way, a little more east. And in the Korah Church, this would be the painting and image. You see Jesus risen, but if you can see it, what he's doing is he's reaching out to two other people who are also coming out of their tomb. One is Adam, the other is Eve. And the rising Jesus grabs hold of Adam and Eve's wrist, and he's pulling them out of their tomb as well. And not only Adam and Eve, the first people that the Bible speaks about, but prophets, rulers, ancestors, people. Wherever Croissant traveled throughout the Eastern Christian church, this was the image that he found over and over again. It's almost as if Easter, celebrated in the Eastern church, was trying to say, Christ rises as he raises up all of the community, all of us. In fact, in the East, it's not even the word resurrection. It's the word Anastasis, rising up. I'm thinking that these two paintings are not just different paintings, but they're two different understandings and stories of Easter resurrection morning. And I think Croissant would want us never to forget that even when we celebrate in the West the rising of Jesus Christ, to never forget that the earlier version of Easter is that Christ does not rise, Anastasis, alone, but grabs hold of all of us. That Easter resurrection is Anastasis of the whole community. When we rise together with mutual aid, when we rise together with corner watches and rental assistance, when we rise together with accompaniment and rapid response, and when we rise together, seeing all of us as beloved neighbors in our beloved community. May it be so. Amen. Let's go back to be seated with our families.
At Unity Church-Unitarian, we often talk about the commitments of a spiritual life being lived within, among, and beyond. We work within ourselves to develop personal practice, helping us find and keep our balance. We work among ourselves, developing the skills of small group intimacy that let us go deep quickly with strangers. And we work beyond ourselves, taking the compassion that rises from doing the work within and among and using it to bless the world. It is a joy today to welcome the newest members of our congregation to join us on this journey within, among, and beyond, the most recent to sign the membership book that includes the signatures of every member of the church since 1872. In the living Unitarian Universalist tradition, membership is an ongoing process of covenanting and commitment. It is ever evolving, ever transforming, ever renewing, giving us the strength to be broken open and transformed. We ask our members to choose neither to withdraw from the world, nor walk wholly in step with it, but instead to yoke themselves to the demands of both justice and love. We ask you to witness the world as it is, and to use the fire in your bones to build the world that might be. This is not an easy thing we ask of you or of ourselves, but none of us do it alone. As you, our new members, commit yourselves to this religious community, know that the congregation also commits itself to you. To be part of a religious community is to learn how to give and receive, how to grow and be challenged, how to agree and disagree in love. We are here to help one another live lives of integrity, service, and joy, and to call out the best in one another. This is the commitment that we renew to each other as a whole congregation today, as we honor these wonderful people. Please join me in welcoming the newest members of Unity Church. New members, please join me in the chancel as I call your names. Angie Alley, Rachel Browne, Wendy Kroll, John Drews, Eric Hove, Meg Teets, Sean Tracy, and Viola Tracy.
As the new members come up, we give them two things. One is the script, because they might have left their orders of service behind. The other is a rose. We give roses to new members of this community twice. Once when we dedicate our children, and once when you join as adults. And there's one difference with the roses that we give to adults. Oh, we didn't do this time. Normally, we leave the thorns.
I did
on the
try to leave
roses.
the thorns on. There were not many thorns.
There were not many thorns. This is a happy
I take
sign
this
for
as a
you.
good omen.
We leave thorns as a mark that joining a church is a complicated thing, and sometimes we prick each other, and then we apologize, and we continue forward in community. This is also a thing that we do together, all of us. So if you would turn in your orders of service to the new member Ingathering and Litany. I'll lead the congregation in reading your parts. Amy will lead the new members in your parts. But will you join me? We, the members of Unity Church-Unitarian, welcome welcome you and gratefully acknowledge your choice to join with us in our continuing religious life.
I become a member of this church, aware of the privileges and responsibilities of membership, and with a sense of coming home this day.
Ours is a faith that dreams the past, envisions the future, and lives with passion in this moment. Even as we honor those who have brought us to this day, so we celebrate your newly found commitment and eagerly anticipate your contributions.
I bring to this community my talents and enthusiasm, my shortcomings and my doubts. I welcome the opportunity to be of service.
Today, we renew our covenant to seek and speak the truth, to love one another without prejudice, and to respond with concerted efforts to the demands of justice.
I share your aspirations, join your covenant, and hope to live by your example.
And now, all of us together for this last bit. Now, therefore, having affirmed one another in covenant, let us recite together our historic bond of fellowship, as those who believe in religion, as those who believe in freedom, fellowship, and character in religion, as those who believe that the religious life means the thankful, trustful, loyal, and helpful life, and as those who believe that the church is a community of helpers, wherein it is made easier to lead such a life, we join ourselves together, name, hand, and heart, as members of Unity Church. Welcome. We are so glad to have you with us. All right.
I am fascinated by compost. In any living cycle, you have that evolving upward and onward kind of energy. We love that. Let's create something new, something better, something more just, something more loving. And there's a whole back end of that cycle. What's falling away, what's old, unraveling, what no longer serves. And the juice of life flows right from that edge of what is coming into being and what is letting go. I'm fond of saying that everything is here. It's important to pay attention to what we're looking for because we will always find it. We'll find the tragedy and the grief in the sprouts that never flourished, in all that we've already lost. We will find the resilience and hope in the cycle of life, a story that never stops, of which we are a small part. We will find the anxiety and the fear in the face of the unknown, and we will find the creative imagination for what might happen next. We will find the beauty and disaster everywhere, right now. Compost is the stuff of death and life. It simultaneously holds the wholeness of what came before and the possibility of what comes next. Compost is an opportunity to take what is unraveled and nourish what might yet be. Each of us live this edge in our lives. Given life as it is, who do I want to be, and what expression does that take? It is sometimes hard work to find out how the hunger of all things wants to express through us. And it can require letting go of what we've been taught, the way we've always done it, and some things need to be composted even when we don't yet have it all figured out. This is hard enough, But how does one look through compost lenses at the world and what it might be with hope? Partly, it takes some curiosity and some imagination. It takes an openness, not only to my own authenticity, but to yours, to ours. It takes the movement of discernment, wondering and listening, trying something new, wondering and listening about that, letting something go, tuning in, and being flexible. All of us doing that together is a beautiful, messy, and unpredictable undertaking. With a natural hunger and a bold balance of letting go and what is emerging, we can move ever closer to joyful visions we long to embody. Let's look for what needs to be composted with an eye towards hope. Let's look for what wants to emerge with an eye towards wonder. Let's look for joy, for community, for love. We'll find it everywhere.
Each time we gather for worship, we set aside a moment to expand the caring ministry of this congregation. We gather here together to trusting that this community is wide enough and deep enough to hold us in both our joy and our sorrow, in our challenges and our celebrations. Together we recognize the cycles of life and death, the circle of love, compassion, and witness that is at the center of this and every sacred community. In our community today, we mourn with the larger community the loss of poet and professor Michael Dennis Browne, who died on March 29th. His voice will continue to be heard in his poems and music for which he wrote librettos, including the song cycle Considering Matthew Shepard, which has been performed by hundreds of choirs across the world, including Unity this morning and throughout this church year. We also hold in care the family and friends of Ruth Booman, who died at the age of 101 on March 13th. Ruth was a beloved and active member of Unity for over 70 years. In the note that was sent to me announcing Ruth's death, her friend said, most notably, she was a counselor for Unity day camps in the 1950s, which was a long time ago. And we offer our prayers, our care, our love to Kathy Tragowski and her family as her granddaughter, Calandra Thomas, continues to struggle through liver and colon cancer. Calandra will have surgery tomorrow. We'll hold them in our prayers. We as a community share our joy, we share our grief, and we share together the work of building the beloved community. I invite you now to speak into this beloved community, what it is you are holding in your hearts this morning. For all that we hold within, among, and beyond ourselves, let us now take a moment of silence. And will you pray with me? Spirit of promise and light, today is a day to celebrate life, to notice the warmth of an early spring sun on our skin, to be dazzled by the crisp shimmer of frost and dew. Today is a day to embrace the burgeoning, the blooming, the yearning to be a part of a world rising up and coming back to life. And yet we know, Spirit, help us to remember, to know that loss is an integral part of these cycles, that our vision of love would not be complete without understanding sacrifice, without understanding suffering. That as we rise, so too we stumble, we sleep, we seek comfort and reassurance. May we all of us remember that all grief is communal, just as all flourishing is mutual. May our joy be shared and our hearts be held, and may we, together, do all we can to bring this community vibrantly and verdantly to life. May it be so, and amen. Please join now in our hymn number 266, Now the Green Blade Riseth.
Interdependence and generosity are core to our faith in this place. We know that we are bound up with each other and our partners in the world, and that generosity deepens our tie. Each week, the majority of our offering supports one of our partners in community. This year's Easter collection will support life-saving work of Mano a Mano. Didn't say that right. Let me say that again. Mano a Mano, thank you. International partners in Bolivia, a South American country linked to Unity Church for over 2 decades. Devastating inequality in rural Bolivia is evidence of centuries of resource exploitation, embedded racial and class oppression, and, more recently, the whipsawing of climate change. This is the venue for Mano a Mano's inspiring work. Founded in 1994 by longtime Unity members Segundo and Joan Velasquez, Mano a Mano International Partners is dedicated to building infrastructure, schools, clinics, roads, reservoirs, and wells, as well as developing human capacity, training healthcare providers, small farmers, and builders. Dozens of Unity members, including myself, have been privileged to work at Mano a Mano in their work, and lots of you have been privileged to go to Bolivia yourselves, to witness the impact of this amazing, amazing work. These pilgrimages strengthen the relationship between the Unity congregation and Mano a Mano, a relationship which binds us all to our Bolivian friends in solidarity and love. Will the ushers please come forward? We know that when we lead lives of integrity, service, and joy, generosity is sure to follow. Please give as generously as you are able.
Easter is always a little tricky for Unitarian Universalist congregations because two things are true every single year. First, we aren't a Christian denomination, and if I reference Jesus too many times in a month from this pulpit, I hear about it. Somebody is already composing an email about the hymns this morning. But the other thing that's true is that Easter is consistently one of the highest attended Sundays every single year at Unity Church. So what is going on here? Maybe it is the three-ring circus service, right? We have all our choirs here, all our kids, all our newest members. Now, the choirs are a captive audience, forced to sit through both services in full. So maybe that's what jacks up our attendance numbers. Maybe it's the unofficial start of spring. Coming to church in pastels the first week when the crocuses have just started to peek out of the frozen ground is uncomplicatedly joyful after the long brown and gray of March. The first crocuses are blooming at Unity Church right under Laura Park's office window. That's where they always seem to appear year after year. Maybe it's cultural. I know for me, it's not actually Easter unless I sing, "Where, O death, is now thy sting? Where thy victory, O grave?" Not that. Okay. Maybe it's that some of you know that with so many moving pieces, the sermon will be very, very short. That. But I wonder, though, if part of all of that, remains our hunger for resurrection. Not a literal life after death, or even the resurrection of the Easter story, but the resurrection that shows up in the stories that we tell to our kids. That moments of despair and sorrow are not always the end of the story. That death becomes compost, becomes new life. That communities can rise together. That sometimes, more often than we imagine, hope and community show up to create something new and beautiful. This spring, our choirs are working on a large piece for Foot Music Sunday next month, considering Matthew Shepard. The piece is a musical retelling of Matthew Shepard's life and death. And like much of the Easter story, it's not a happy story. It's a reminder of the cruelty we humans can inflict on one another. But also, like the Easter story, the cruelty is neither the point or the last word. Considering Matthew Shepard ends with the choirs symbolically meeting in community and singing a vision of the beloved community, one that includes from the start and to the end all of us in a single human family. And if that seems like a naive and impossible hope, that's also Easter. This message that just when it seems like there's no way out, no chance for a happy ending, that is the moment of resurrection, the moment of rising. And that's also a moment that I think we need as a community and as a city. This week I had a conversation with one of our members who asked what we could do to bring home the 4,000 Minnesotans deported this winter. I don't have a good answer. I know folks working on specific cases, but the scale of loss in this state is staggering. I don't know what resurrection looks like after ICE occupation. I don't know how the story turns out well. I imagine Jesus' followers didn't know how it could possibly turn out okay. Matthew Shepard's friends and family did not get their beloved back. But I am convinced that if resurrection is real, Anastos, this rising up, is real, for us in Minnesota in 2026 after a long, cold, icy winter, it won't be solo looking up at the glory and being shocked like that church in Florence. It will look like neighbors coming up together, holding hands, all of us, neighbors, imagining and creating and recreating a world of mutual flourishing instead of hate. Resurrection will look like the Victoria Safford poem, which finds us in a different, sometimes lonely place, the place of truth-telling about our own soul first and its condition, the place of resistance and defiance, the place of ground from which you see the world both as it is and as it could be, as it will be. The place from which you glimpse not only struggle, but the joy of the struggle. And we stand there, beckoning and calling, telling people what we are seeing, asking people what they see. May we meet in that place and begin.
Meet me here
We'll sing on from any darkness, coming home to the light, all of us together. Happy Easter, everyone, and amen.